I've got no control of everything. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome. It is round number 1 of the team versus team brought to you by Logistical Nightmare Racing. This is the live stream of the team for a luxury time racing. And as much as I wanted to change my cameras at this point, I'm battling to do so. But we will figure it out as there's a huge crash in the background there. The drivers still trying to get to grips with these very, very difficult conditions. And I think I figured out what the problem is. There we go. There's the sound, so we're all up and running. And we're currently watching car number 888. And this is Erwee and Craig, who are currently driving this car. Currently in a 13th position, and they are driving in the AM class. Other drivers driving here this evening, and that is the car number 3. Car number 3 is drivers Ettiene and Jude, also driving in the Pro-Am. And then we've got Flip and Shaun. They're in the 118, driving in the Pro. I do have Shaun with me in the commentary box while he's waiting for Flip to have a go. Shaun, how are you this evening? Oh, sorry, Brandon. I got it all mixed up, man. Uh, 118, there we go. I am fighting this system here. It's not letting me change to the drivers I want to be watching. So just for right now, let's just jump to this view. We will get it sorted out, guys. Just bear with us. This is the first stream that we are doing as a luxury time racing team. And apologies, Brandon. But we are at Barcelona. The circuit, as you can see, is extremely wet. The guys starting off with a wet conditions. And an interesting series that the guys have got running here. This is a team versus team. It is a driver swap mandatory, which is an absolutely fantastic, something new being brought into ACC. And I'm actually surprised that there hasn't been more of that happening through some of the leagues being held in South Africa. So Shaun currently in 4th place, and just behind that, Jacques Vermeulen is starting to open up a bit of a gap there. But Shaun really keeping that pressure on Patterson, who's just ahead of him. But only 4 seconds is separating first down to 4th place as he goes a little bit too deep for that corner going into turn number 4. But as it comes down into turn number 5, and I'm almost seeing that there's a dry line starting to form there. Or are my eyes deceiving me? Taking a lot of curb as he went through turn number 8. But he did get a really good drive because now he's right up on the back of Patterson. Trying to get as much slipstream advantage going into the turn number 10. So it is BMW versus BMW at the moment. That rear is definitely looking nice and hooked up as he got into that power. The car didn't over-rotate, it just got that drive. So really awesome to see. So now down through turn number 16. Will there be an opportunity? You see straight on out in front. He got very well off what we know as that racing line. He was very much on the right-hand side of the track. Oh, big sideways moment there for him. That rear just letting go as soon as that weight transferred onto the front. It just lifted that pressure off that rear suspension, and it just lost just a little bit of that rear grip, but was able to catch the slide. Do want to just jump to our 888, and for some reason we are having some livery technical difficulties. The livery hasn't loaded there, but Erwee starting to, or Erwee, Brandon help me, I keep saying Erwee, but I hear guys saying Erwee. Erwee, thank you, sorry Erwee, I do not mean to bastardize your name, but is within half a second now of Moore, who's in 10th place, but we're just going to watch for Young. He's getting very, very close here. So with Erwee going a little bit too deep into turn number 8, that definitely slowed him down, which has now allowed Young to get right up behind him. And all that's going to do is just start adding that pressure, which I'm sure that Erwee was hoping to be applying onto Moore. But now he's going to have that Aston Martin up alongside him as they go through turns at number 11. He's just going to stop looking in his mirror, keep his eyes ahead, because as soon as you start watching the mirror, that's where you start missing braking points, and that's where you start making those mistakes. So we'll see how quick this BMW is compared to the Aston coming down the start-finish line. It looked like Young's just moving out of the way, probably just trying to get a better view of the straights, look for those braking points, because when you got spray flying up at you, it is very tricky to determine where you are on the track. Then the third team racing here this evening, currently in the car, that is Ettiene, and he is getting a lot of pressure from a Vandenberg. See Vandenberg getting a nice tighter line on the inside, but with Ettiene being on the outside, he would have been able to get the power down a little bit more aggressively, because he's got a wider radius. He would have been able to take a little bit more speed. But currently fighting down in a 13th position, the 19th position, apologies. Jump back to this battle between Moore, Murray and Young. Just see how close these three are. Still waiting for an opportunity is Erwee. We're going to have a little look to the inside, going into turn number 10. And it's all about being patient. So just checking those comments. We've got Brandon saying, race time, let's go team. And Jude Neville saying, hello. Hello, Jude. And what track were you guys driving on? Okay, 100%. So are we expecting Jude to pull out some miracles when he jumps into this car a little bit later? He's just got to drive with his head and not with his eyes. I think that is a little bit of the running joke that we've got within the team. Is if you want to get your safety rating up, don't drive with Jude. But in reality, he actually is a clean racer. But during the practice, he likes to test those limits a little bit. And Jude, please just tell me if you think that I'm wrong. I don't think so. So we currently got 1 hour 8 minutes left of this 80-minute race. And jumping to our pro car for a luxury time racing, Shaun is just fallen outside that second the distance between himself and Patterson. But there is still a long race to go, and anything can happen. We've also see that we've got Keegan who's joined us. He's saying, let's go the PWSR. Thank you very much, Keegan, for coming and having a visit with us. As you can see here, we're all about luxury time racing, the team. Keegan, just let me know if that has been fixed, but it should be, because we have brought that the other sound back in. But thank you very much for the feedback. We do really appreciate it. And with it being the first stream, is that you do all the testing and you think that everything is right, and then you go live and realize that there are things that have not been activated.
Potentially could also be my mic volume that's low. I know I normally struggle with it with some of the streams, onboard streams that I do.
So Erwee has been able to make a move ahead of sorry, that was Moore. But now he's going to come back. They're going to be side by side. Oh, outbreaks himself, which is now going to push Erwee onto the outside, and just cutting in front of that Aston Martin again. But now they've got 5 cars that are still trying to fight for this one position. Erwee going to be on the inside now, going into turn number 13. He has been able to squeeze that ass now. Now he's got his eyes on the Audi ahead of him. Okay, let's test that now. I hope that's better. There we go. So now those levels are looking a little bit aligned. So thank you, Keegan. Appreciate that. So Erwee is still trying to chase down Moore, fighting for 10th place. Thank you, Keegan, who's now officially been dubbed the sound technician for luxury time racing. Yeah, Brandon, one of the strange things is that what happens is I listen to the levels and I hear them directly coming into my headset. And for me, they sound perfect. But obviously, it's as the software is taking all this information and putting it up on the stream, is that sometimes it doesn't always work the way you want to.
Yeah, no, I experienced that the same with my side. And yeah, I know with the wireless headsets, the microphones aren't always the best.
So we've got Shaun having a look to the inside into turn number 1, and he gets himself ahead of Patterson. But now will Patterson try and go around the outside, but going through the outside here is not always easy. When you're in a Formula 1 car, it looks like Carlos Sainz is able, and Verstappen is able to make it work, but I don't think it works in the wet. So Shaun now up into a 3rd place, but that mirror is going to be very, very full with that Patterson BMW. Sorry, Brandon, you were saying about the volume in the headsets?
No, just like what I've experienced with my own headset is it's wireless, and then I know I have some issues with my mic. It's generally lower than the normal headsets that are basically wired straight up to the PC.
Cool. Yeah, mine is a wired headset, and it does go straight into the PC, straight over the ears, so there's a lot of noise behind me that I cannot hear. But I do run a separate microphone for the sound. And that's purely because of the PlayStation streaming, is that microphone is essentially on my headset, is connected into a controller. But then my stream is picked up by the actual voice, so I get to speak to the guys in the game as well as on the stream.
Oh yeah, that helps. Yeah, I think the last console I had was a PS2.
Yeah, I've spent the last 4 years going into our 5th year with Sarko and the console racing. So the online has always been on the console. So this transition over for some racing on PC is very new for me. I did dabble a little bit through COVID, a couple of the endurance races, but didn't really do much from there. But I do see that Erwee has just got himself a 5-second penalty. So I'm sure that he's now pushing those track limits, but that's possibly because he's under so much pressure, and that Aston Martin just pulling out.
I think the penalty actually came from the lap 1 side door banging. I think it's with Vandenberg.
Okay.
Not too sure.
I have only just noticed that now. But I am looking at that battle between Patterson and Shaun in 3rd place, and Patterson's really making it difficult to get away there. So Shaun's still going to be needing to watch that rearview mirror, because he's going to be on him. Very, very, very difficult to start pulling away. Penalty for car 22.
Jude also informed me that Ettiene lost it a bit into the wall, apparently. Hopefully there's not too much damage.
Oh, very, very late on the brakes there. Oh, that's a big nudge there. That's going to get Erwee stuck in the middle of the track now onto the dirt. Not what we wanted to see, but definitely contact there going out of that final chicane. So unfortunately, Erwee now dropping down the order, down in 18th place, but there's still an hour to go, so there is still time for him to close up that gap. Just there's definitely going to be some damage that they might have to get fixed in the pits.
Yeah, unlucky there.
And we do see that Shaun pulling away now, so just about 2 seconds is the gap between himself and Patterson. And Jacques Vermeulen in 5th. He was just over a second behind Patterson, but that gap seems to be definitely opening up. So the front 4 pulling away from the rest of the field. Just reading those messages from Keegan, just saying another tip, if you're interested, just ask the drivers for deliveries. So we do have most of them, but we have had some issues with some of the deliveries loading, but we'll definitely get them up and running for that next race next week. But thanks, Keegan. I really appreciate the interaction. So guys, the Luxury Time racing team is supported by Luxury Time Racing. The premium time pieces. We've got deals of the week, which can be seen on luxurytime.co.za, and the QR code will get you a direct contact to Erwee, and just let him know that you saw this off the Luxury Time stream. And that will get you not only your discounted rate on your luxury timepiece, but then you also are supporting the Luxury Time racing team.
I see Etiene's in the pits, probably fixing the damage.
I've still got him on track. Oh, Ettiene, got you. Here we go.
I think apparently he had 60 seconds damage.
Oof.
Jude let me know.
And was there any indication of what had happened? Did we get a tap, or did he lose it on his own?
I'm not 100% sure. I just know that he lost it and he had some contact with the wall.
And I must say, it is pretty frustrating when you're early on in the race, get yourself some damage, a little bit of contact, and then go and get that damage fixed, and you come out right in the middle of the front leaders or the front runners. It is very, very frustrating indeed.
Not sure if my eyes are deceiving me, but it looks like car number 3's livery loaded up. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, no, yeah, it did. No, but so car number 3 and 118, they all were up and running. For some reason, just couldn't get to it. So it's too wide there. That's going to be interesting now. Going through too wide is generally not a good idea, especially over there. And now you're doing it in the wet, so it does make it interesting. It was just this 888 for some reason just didn't load.
Yeah, and I think you told me before the stream that it is in fact loading in game for you.
Yeah, so I did see it in my game, but for some reason when we logged onto the server, it isn't showing there. But that's a great move, just sneaking on the inside, but will be able to carry the speed around the outside. It looks like he has been able to make that stick. So Erwee now moving ahead one more position, And with the 24 minutes left to go, these guys have still got about another 25 minutes or so of their stint. And I do believe that there are a few different strategies that the guys are going to be running. So it will be interesting to see. And obviously at this point, with still 54 minutes left to go, is that none of the drivers have pitted just yet. So that's Van der Hart chasing down Erwee, and you can see just making a few little mistakes. And that is definitely something that does happen. Is the driver ahead of you gets ahead and you start pushing a little bit too hard instead of driving your own race and finding that rhythm again. Well, that seems to be a very, very interesting line there. So that 747 is Marburg. He is down in 20th place. So I think that Shaun might have just gone a little bit wide, run around the outside just to make sure that there wasn't any complications with the back marker.
Keegan, with your question of the sale of, is it Tissot's? I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation. Probably the best person to find out is from Erwee himself.
Most definitely. So Keegan, all I can say to you is just scan that little QR code, and I'd actually love to know if it does scan for you, because that will get you directly to the man in charge of the watches, and that is Erwee, and he will be able to tell you what is available. But I do know that there have been some Tissos that have come through I'd say the ranks, which is not possibly the right word, but I have seen some being advertised. So he is the best person to talk to. What I do know is
I'll be back shortly.
Sure. The deals of, no problem. The deals of this week with the Longnage, which is the flagship Heritage Men. We then got the Breitling, and that's the Avenger Seawolf, and then we had the Cartier tank, the Franchise Steel Men's Watch. Those were the deals of the week, but warning for unsafe rejoin. Oh, that's Erwee in a little bit of trouble there. Just some close racing action happening down 11th, 12th and 13th place.
I'm back.
So Ettiene down in the 21st place. I think this is his first team race, I would believe, with the team. And I must say, I do like that white and gold livery, absolutely fantastic. And also the white trim, it actually looks really good. I love it, absolutely love it. Good job, Brandon.
I think the credit should go to Mr. Shaun Lorera. He actually designed these, the endurance livery. The Porsche livery that we ran, the Porsche livery that we ran last season is the one that I created. But I see the guys are a little bit scared of the Porsche nowadays. They're waiting for the new one, apparently.
So look, I am most definitely a Porsche fan. My PC ACC career started in a Porsche, and I did a couple of seasons in the Porsche on the PS4 version. So I do love it myself, and when I thought that I knew what I was doing with the setups, they went and did a few things with the changes, and then they changed the tires, and then all of a sudden the Porsche was no longer the car to drive.
Yeah, I would say it's something similar with myself. I started the game, but before I went into open lobbies and any communities, I was actually in the Porsche, and then I started driving the Ferrari 488 Evo.
Yeah.
And then I did my first season with, I think it was similar in South Africa, was a year ago. And then with I think it was when the BMW came out, I switched over to the BMW and been with the Beamer ever since.
So I must say, considering all the other cars that I have been driving are either rear engine mounted or mid engine mounted. So it definitely has changed my driving style. But once you learn how to get the front hooked up and get the car squatted, then get the power on, it's actually a very enjoyable car to drive, I must say. It was very easy to get accustomed to it very quickly.
And one thing that I like about the BMW is that you can actually ride the curbs, and similar to what I hear the guys in the Bentleys do.
Yes.
Very different from the Ferrari. Like, I remember with the Ferrari, you'd hit a curb and you'd yeet yourself into the next session.
Similar problem with the Porsche is because it's got so much weight at the back, is you got to run it quite stiff to keep that rear planted. And any curb or anything like that, there's little mistakes starting to creep in now with Shaun. And Patterson still has him in his crosshairs, waiting for an opportunity. So 35 minutes have gone by. There is still 45 minutes left of this race. You could just see when he's turning in that rear is just a little bit loose there. I wonder whether that's signs of just something doesn't look right with the balance of this car for some reason. Shaun's definitely not looking comfortable. You can just see how quickly Patterson's now catching up to him. Like again, he's gone a little bit too wide into that corner. So that was into turn number 5, but now up through 7 and 8. Just want to see what this car is doing up through turn 9. You can see Patterson's being able to take a much tighter line there, where it looks like Shaun is definitely understeering as he's going in. Is this the opportunity now for Patterson to take this position back? Shaun just starts squeezing him a little bit to the outside, down in the braking zone at turn 10, but now Patterson gets the drive out and will sneak ahead going through turn number 11. So I wonder whether this is now the opportunity to get the drivers changed up, get flip in the car. Maybe it's a bit of fuel that's required. You can just see what it's like to be on board in one of these cars. We do have a back marker for a driver that has come out of the pits. And Patterson wanting to make quick work of him. Couldn't really see who that was. But definitely got out the way. Didn't want to get involved with this battle between Shaun and Patterson. So there's only just under 8 minutes left for the pit window to be closed, and that means that the drivers have to go in and do the driver change within a certain time, which forces the drivers to share the load so that you don't have one driver doing 10 minutes and then your quickest driver goes and finishes the race.
Yeah, very short pit window.
Because if you only got a 10-minute pit window, you've only essentially got 5 laps as a little window.
It also makes it important to actually have a clean race, because if you sustain any damage, you drive for quite a while before you can actually pit to fix any damage.
Yep, 100% agree. Thank you, Keegan. He has confirmed that our QR code is working. That is absolutely fantastic news.
Looks like Jude has also taken over from Ettiene.
Yeah, we see Jude down at the bottom because these little green lines that are starting to come up now. Those are the conversations. Oh no! Erwee, 30-second stop and go. As well as Nokia, who's just ahead of him. So we got Patterson, who was fighting for the third place against Shaun. He is now gone into the pits. And what I have noticed is that Jacques Vermeulen was a couple of seconds down the track, but he's now only 5 seconds away. There he is in the background there. So quite interesting to see as this race has gone on and the fighting of the guys in the front. You can see Jacques now down to 4.6 seconds, so he's taken out just about a second out of Shaun that last lap. So it is a driver change time for Shaun. He will be handing that car over to a Flip, our team boss, and exactly on the halfway point. And there's Jacques Vermeulen. You can see how close that he's got. So 4 seconds is that gap. So Jacques was definitely getting those lap times in and made quite a dent.
Oh, and Alan's got a drive-through. Must be for track limits. So that's going to be quite good for Flip when he comes up.
So what that will do is it will definitely ease up that gap, but Flip will have whoever's going to be changing here for Jacques Vermeulen. He'll be 4 seconds behind Flip. So a little bit longer on the change there. So there we can see the ZYL on the window of that 118. And once Flip goes past the split sector time, it will just update the timing. There we go. So we can see now in a 6th place, that is Flip van Zyl. And Bullion, he's closed that gap a little bit. Now found a 1/10 of a second as Flip gets a little bit of understeer as he gets that car turned into turn number 5. So we do still have Ferreira, who's ahead of Flip. We do have Vessels that has pitted, so he is up at the top there. We got Young and Greening. Those still need to pit, but out in front, that is Shaun Stradham. He opened quite a bit of a gap there, so once he goes into the pits, as we see that he is doing now, we are sure that he will still come out ahead.
There are a few more stoppers that came through.
So stop and go there for Nokia and for Amawa.
I'm sure the stop goes are for speeding in the pit lane, and they came into pit and driver stop, if I'm not mistaken.
Trying to maximize your entry, get onto the brakes, lock up the wheels, cross the line, still going too fast. That's definitely gonna give you that stop and go penalty, and it all depends, because you could get just the normal stop and go, but that stop and go for 30 seconds, that means you need to be stopped for 30 seconds before you get to go. That is I think that's the highest penalty you can get. If you go any higher than that, and then it's just a full disqualification.
I think so too. Unless you miss the pit window, and then I think you get hit with a 120-second time penalty.
Yeah,
it's also quite rough.
That's quite intense. See, the only problem with this screen is that once I go into this view, I can't go and change the driver, and I can't do anything else, which is the problem. So I have to. Sorry guys, just go here. We will get it. We will get the quality of the stream a little bit better for next week. So that is the pit window and now closed.
I'm not sure that everybody made it into the pits in time.
No, because there's we've got Van der Venter, De Santos, Pullen, Janssen van Vuren and Watson all saying that they still need to do a pit, which means that they haven't pitted within that window. So I'll be very interested to see what the stewards are going to say about that. So, yep, go for it.
I remember from the team versus team last season when we had the race at Silverstone, which was also in the wet. I think it was Craig Hunter. I realized that after he did it, but in the wet the tires don't actually change to a new tire set. So you physically have to change it, and I know one of the rules for the series is mandatory fuel, mandatory tires, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Could potentially not count as a pit stop.
So guys, just getting used to just putting some fuel in, didn't change the tires, which means that pit stop would not be valid. So that's a very interesting point, because I'm pretty sure that people knew that there was a pit window, and I don't think that there would have been so many that would have made that much of a mistake. So our fearless leader, Flip van Zyl, is going to be getting a little bit of pressure in the next couple of laps, because he's got a Bullion who is closing up at a rapid pace.
Yeah, Null in the race last night was also quite quick, running toe to toe with Shaun Lorero last night. They had a good battle.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. Yet I did have some Sarco commitments I needed to attend to. It was the first race of our season on the console, and man oh man, some crazy racing up and down the grid there. It was absolutely awesome to see, both in the Bravo and the Alpha tier. And you can see how interesting it is when you've got two Brandons and two Stefans and
Yeah, I saw it. It's quite filled with a few Brandons. In all fairness, since I've started with the sim racing, I've seen a lot more Brandons than what I'm used to.
Well, look, if you're in four ways, and those Brandons would have been Bradleys. So Flip is getting lots and lots of pressure. That wasp looking black and yellow, aha, you know what it is, BMW behind him is starting to fill up that rearview mirror.
Let's see if Flip can live up to his Discord server tag name that
The
I think
Defender.
Paul Venter gave him. The Defender.
Well, I reckon the only way you're going to get that name is if you're known for that. So I'm really excited to see that. The question is that can you defend for 30 minutes? Oh, as we said, that Bullion goes a little bit too deep there. And that car in the background there, I don't really know who that is, because he is currently driving out of position. So it's definitely not Watson. You can see that lots and lots of understeer as he breaks into turn number 10. But he is able to hold that inside line going through 12, where the Bullion goes a little bit deeper into 12 and then a later exit. Precision, them needling that car through those sausage curbs, and man oh man, there was the Aston Martin that was flying down on the Monza circuit. It went a little bit sideways, hit a sausage curb so hard that it exploded the door off, and we do have that up on our page. Go and have a look. Oof, that car is sliding as it goes into turn number 1. And Flip seems to not have got his rhythm, but he's holding that gap pretty much consistent now. So I'm not sure whether it's got to that point where Bullion is now being just slowed up a little bit. He's hesitating, trying to find that opportunity.
I think something that the guys also mentioned last night in the race is it's quite difficult to follow with the amount of spray that you get.
So that was nice and tidy for Flip going through 7 and 8. Now up through the hill. This is where, so going on the curb, that's very, very risky there, because that car could just completely over-rotate. Now onto the brakes into 10, and Bullion is still right behind him. Less than half a second is that gap. But I will see the two different lines, that Bullion goes a little bit deeper but then tightens up, where Flip holds that inside line and he runs the radius of the curb. Little step up of the rear there for Bullion as he got that power on coming out of turn 12. Ooh, big jump there from the Aston Martin, who I'm wondering whether he'll come into play now as the fight here for 3rd and 4th start closing up on him. So that is 87. So that's Van der Venter, who is down in 15th place. Van der Venter, hold on, that's Johan, that is Toki. So Johan is also an ex-Sarko driver. Even number 7, so that is Gerrit Janssen van Vieren. He also, we know him as Sarko Sheep. He also did a few little fun races with us at Sarko. And I've just realized that K Mawa is actually Kalen, right?
Yeah, I think that is correct. So
Kalen also did a little project car season with us. See, all these boys, a lot of them, we know who you are. So while we haven't been in the PC world for long, we have been around. Whoa, thought that Flip might have a look, but the Aston Martin getting out of the way, which while it slowed up Flip, it definitely helped Bullion get right up behind him, because he's definitely a lot closer now. And just in the background there, it looked like it was a little sneaky from that the blue car. Oh, so it looked like Johan just 14 back there, saying, no, not going to give that place back to you. Let's see, that's Jude still in car number 3, starting to find his rhythm. But Craig is up into 16th place, but he is a few places down.
Yeah, I think Jude's made 2 places up.
Yep.
They've had 2 stops, if I'm not mistaken. I think the first one was for the 60 seconds damage.
Yes. And then the driver change.
That's correct.
I wonder if we can't find Ettiene and just have a little chat to him to see. Obviously not ask him the hard, cutting deep questions, but just find out how his first driver swap race was. I'm pretty sure that the two drivers are using each other as spotters, so don't want to just go and surprise him. But Ettiene, if you are listening, come and join us in the Team Radio Discord. But absolutely a fantastic defending. I say defending, but all Flip is doing is just driving the car, getting it in the most awkward and difficult places as he can, maximize the exit, and that just eliminates the opportunity for Bullion to make a move. Little understeer there for Flip as he went into turn number 12. It does look like Bullion just pulled back ever so slightly.
It was also interesting with the BMWs that had the gearing changes applied to it.
So are you saying we actually get to 6th gear now?
At Spa, I get to 6 in 2 different places. So
here comes the move.
Up the Camel Straight.
Bullion's going to have a look to the inside. Is he going to be close enough? And Flip just squeezing that door. Bullion pulling out there, realizing that that door is going to be closed.
Yeah, no. I did a few laps at Spa yesterday just to have a look. It felt a little bit slower at first. Feels more stable. But yes, I got 6th gear up the Camel Straight, and just after Blanchimont got.
That's amazing.
You can get 6.
So I'm assuming that you're saying that it feels slower, but that's because you're now changing more. Where normally what would happen is that on the 5 gear ratio that we had is that you would be pulling the gears a lot longer. Could that be the reason?
Yeah, I would say, especially through full on, for me personally, it was always a 50-50 decision between 3rd or 4th gear.
Yeah.
And at this stage, I can just always take 4th gear, and the rear doesn't come around you. So if there's any corners where you were 50-50 about which gear, you just stay in the higher gear now.
So Flip still battling very, very hard here with Bullion. This is the closest that Bullion has been able to get. But I thought that he was going to have a little look into turn number 9, but just wasn't able to get close enough to threaten it. But now he should be able to get a nice little slipstream here. But this camera angle is quite deceiving, because as soon as it pulls away, it looks like the car is close enough to have a look, and then you get this picture all of a sudden. Then you realize that it actually is more than a car's length. Oh, Bullion very, very loose there as he went through turn number 2, and it's just the changing of the car, the way it just loads. It goes from the right hand loading up the left, and as soon as you change the direction, you start loading up the right hand side of the car, and if those dampers aren't working as they should, the car just doesn't settle quick enough, and that's where you start getting those little shaky moments. What I have found specifically on the BMW, which works for me, is a little bit more rake, just to get that car leaned in, because normally with me and the cars that I would drive is I would use the gears to help rotate, where now I've got to get the nose in to get the grip loaded up, so I'm not using the rear to turn the car.
Yeah, I know the car also just feels better with more fuel, lighter fuel. It just feels too loose.
Well, when we were doing our race on, I'm going to say last night, but I think it was last night. No, the night before, on Sunday night. Yep. I did my fastest time with 30 litres of fuel. As soon as I tried to do a normal qualifying, the car just wouldn't settle. It was just twitchy, wasn't turning in, but add 30 litres of fuel, and man, oh man, it was awesome to drive. So here comes Bullion. You can see that he is now right behind Flip. But Flip going very defensive on the inside, staying on the center of the track. But now he's just going to have to be careful on the brakes. You can see both cars a little bit squirrely there as they got into the brakes. And this little fight here is bringing the BMW, the Mercedes-Benz into play here. Just want to see if that is Nokia, I believe. Can't see that number. Yes, it is. That is Nokia. So this is Nokia, who's down in 19th place. Now coming and pushing these two along. And look, as a driver that is one lap down, you are more than entitled to overtake a car that has lapped you. Provided you do it safe.
Oh, I think it's just Jude that unlapped himself from 10th place, so showing some speed there.
We haven't checked our basic carbon fiber livery. We like to call this the dark timepiece. So that behind that Robson in the 969, looking to lap Craig there. But back to where the action is hot, wet and happening. With just over 17 minutes left to go of this this LTR Logistical Nightmare Racing, team versus team. Now catching up to another back marker. We'll just see who that is. Haven't quite picked up a number just yet.
Looks like Craig and Erwee, they did not, or they opted not to repair the damage.
Okay, so that's number 51, who's down in 14th place, is going to be absolutely swamped here. So he goes and he rides, and there's a little bit of a contact there between himself and Nokia. Going through turn number 12. No, that's not 12. Where are we? I've lost my place. So there we are. Sorry, going through turn number 9. And once again, Flip still defending from Bullion, the Wasp-looking vehicle. Now that I've said this thing looks like a Wasp, I can't unsee it. Sorry, Shaun from Milan, I didn't mean that. But I'm pretty sure that Bullion is getting to that point where he is starting to feel the frustration, is that he was within 0.1 of a second. And is he going to have a late lunge on the inside here? Not able to, still not close enough. Oh no! So Flip just didn't get the drive out the corner that he wanted, which now allows Bullion to go in. But has he gone too deep? He has, which now opens that door once again for Flip. And we have seen that Flip has been able to take a much tighter line. And now 111 Nokia is going to get himself between the two, which is definitely going to help Flip now. Even though there's a blue flag being waved, that is being waved for the 111. And 14 minutes left to go. It is definitely one of those interesting scenarios because you as the driver at the back, you feel that you're going faster than the cars ahead. You are definitely entitled to make that move. But now what's happened is that he's put a huge span on the works now.
You can flip some breathing space.
Most definitely. Look, it's definitely working in Flip's favor.
Sometimes it just helps that you just can get back into your rhythm.
We know that this Merc is really quick in a straight line, and I'm pretty sure that he will be able to make easy. Oh, he left that little move to the inside very late. But there, Nokia, even though he's getting those blue flags, he will unlap himself. And that's just got Bullion right up at the back now. Bullion's going to try to go around the outside. But now the Merc's starting to open up a gap, and Bullion trying to look for an opportunity around the outside into turn 4, but not close enough. And I don't think that turn 4 is conducive for an outside overtake. Again, flip on that curb, and I get very nervous to see that, especially on an inside, because you need those rear wheels to be gripping and giving you drive to help rotate, and then all of a sudden you stick the inside wheel on, it loses traction, and then it just spins you around.
I have a feeling that the 111 car might have hit it either late, because if I'm not mistaken, the boards that are white are the pro drivers on this pro split, and the red boards are the AM split drivers. So the 111 car is actually out of position, if we can put it like that.
Yeah, no, there definitely must have been something that happened. Maybe it was part of the incident in the beginning of the race. Because if we look, okay, it doesn't really show. I was hoping to see a lap time. But that would have given us an indication of what sort of pace that he has been doing.
Yeah, correct.
And there is a saying that we have had at Sarko, and that is the fastest doesn't always win. And you would be very surprised how often that is the case. So less than 11 minutes left to go. So we got about 5 laps at a push, because it's just over 2 minutes a lap here. And Flip doing an absolutely sterling job here, holding up the Black Wasp. But it does look like through this section, specifically here through turn 12, is that Flip is able to just get that power on. Oh, but sure, the Bullion did manage to get a good jump out of there. That's the camera I want.
I'm having a look on Jude's stream as well, and it seems like he's making moves and lapping himself. Unfortunately that they unlapping themselves and not for position.
Yeah. Well, the next position that Jude has got is just under 15 seconds to that next driver. Whoa! Big sideways moment for Flip, but he has been able to keep that car going in a straight line. So that
it's good drive out of that last corner compared to now, there, which just helps him. It's the good exits in the places that matter.
what I've realized is that you're actually not seeing what I'm seeing. Hey, are you watching it on the stream?
Yeah, so I'm
Okay, so you're a few seconds behind.
Yeah.
You should have told me, and I would have streamed it into the Discord, so you could have seen it live time. And that's generally what we do for our commentary box through the soccer league. So we've got Craig up in 15th place. He is in the 888 car. And apologies to Erwee and Craig. Not too sure why your livery has not loaded. But these guys fighting for position. There is the 747 just behind them. So that's 969 who's coming through the field to lap them. But there's a 747 in the black and red.
I do see that with Flip now being in 5th place, but car number 4 did not complete a valid pit stop in the pit window.
Correct. So there are definitely going to be some questions asked as to how that happened. Mr. Porsche himself, looking good in a BMW.
It looks like Flip ran wide into turn 1.
So you're about 10 to 11 seconds behind me.
Yeah, that's great. Just catching up on the LTR stream as well. They use the replay to show it at times.
Okay, got you. There you go. Now you can see live time. I know it's an hour and 14 minutes too late.
Rather late than ever.
But rather late than ever, exactly.
Something interesting that I do see on the LTR stream is that some of the liveries seem to come and go.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, so the broadcasting buttons, once I go into the actual game as the broadcasters, I'm not able to jump between the screens that I require.
I think I actually
this is essentially that broadcasting screen, but now I need to still go back and look at the track map. I need to be able to bring up my comments. Also want to jump between the Discord. So in here, all my keys are locked, and I know they are the hotkeys, but for some reason I'm pushing my button and my button's not working. So I don't know if I've now somehow changed the configuration or whatever I've done to these buttons, but I'm not changing the drivers.
I actually think I saw something similar with the guy that did the commentary on the ARC race at Laguna Seca.
Okay, yes.
That you guys also did on the Sunday League.
Yes.
Where he was also struggling to
Sword
move
and
between
keyboard.
cars. That's correct.
So it's not that one. So for me to go and change the drive, I need to go out and go back to essentially the garage. Whoa! Big lock up there, missing of the braking points there for Craig, and now has allowed 747 to go through Scruton. That would be Crouton with an S, right?
Yeah, I think it's Gavin Scruton.
Okay, there we go.
If I'm not mistaken. Raced a few times against him at LTR and some race South Africa.
And you can see that now that Bullion has got ahead of Flip, is that he has opened up quite a bit of a gap. So that does show how well Flip essentially was defending. So let's see where Bullion is. Okay, so he is now going into turn number 10. Oh! He's just gone wide, which I'm sure Flip is going to be very, very happy about. Well, now that puts Watson ahead. And there's Flip. So he has narrowed that gap with that little mistake that Bullion made going into turn 12. Little lock up there. And the rear just let go and oversteered the opposite way.
Probably 2 laps to go, I would say.
Yeah. And that's understanding that old Barrington Smith is out in front, so he's now heading towards turn number 10, so he will cross the line with just over about a minute to go, maybe less. And then that will mean that he will start his final lap.
Hopefully everyone still has enough fuel.
Yes. Because now we are going on to lap 40, so that means we'll be doing lap 41. So those who calculated a 40 lap race might be under a little bit of pressure. So my estimate wasn't too bad. I said we'll have just over a minute left to go, and there we go. So that was where we saw Bullion making that mistake a little bit earlier up, which has allowed Flip to get within 3 seconds of him. So the first car I actually drove when I came into the Assetto Corsa realm was actually the Aston Martin. I just loved the look of that car. Just battled.
Sound of it.
Most definitely, but I just battled to drive it, and that was very disappointing.
I remember when we did the first attempt of the Kylon in 9 hour, that the Aston at that time was extremely good in wet weather. But I heard with the new updates that the Aston got quite a big buff again.
Oh really? Hectic.
Ooh. Barrington Smith almost lost it around one of the corners. He in Tokyo style.
I've just realized that there's two bullions. There's an L bullion and an N bullion.
Yeah, father and son.
That's awesome. So that puts Barrington up in front, Vessels in second place. Still battling it out here, going to turn 10. This is Watson, but we see that there's still this invalidated pit stop, which still needs to play itself out.
Oh, there we go. 130-second penalty.
Yo, that's a lot. So Flip will cross the line in fifth, but will take a fourth place there. Jumping down to Craig in the 888. And just behind Craig, you can see that's Jude. Craig is going to make a mistake, and is that going to allow Jude to steal a position? Because knowing Jude that he will push Craig off to take that place.
I just don't think Jude has the complete drive.
Dos Santos and Van der Venter both getting a 132nd penalty, which is going to get, there we go, Craig up into 14th and Jude up into 11th. A fourth place there overall for Flip and for Shaun. So a great first race out there. Then for Jude and Ettiene, 15th place there, and for Erwee and Craig, they'll finish up in 14th place. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining. A big thank you to Brandon for as well, just sitting here and just having a little chat with me as we brought through this first live stream. We should have all our ducks in a row, guys, with the stream, and just making sure that the cameras are working as we expected. We tested and practiced, still don't understand why it didn't work. Nevertheless, guys, thank you very much. If you tune in, we will be back next week for round number 2. And guys, until then, have a lekker time. Keep practicing and keep racing. And until then, thanks for watching. Yo's.